context of this lesson is butterfly and butterfly variants. There's, of course, more than one direction, like with everything else. I want to start with underhand butterfly. So the way I'd like to start is like this. I would take your two poi on your front plane and draw two circles with them from underhand that are roughly side by side in together time. And then split the timing, so one is up while the other one is down. Then you're going to take your two hands, and instead of having them up here, I would relax your hands down so that you have a 90-degree angle between at your elbow from this part to here. And then I want you to walk your two hands together so that they're closer together, and the two circles look like they're not quite like a Venn diagram, but almost as if it's one circle on top of itself. And you have to maintain solid timing for this to work. This is a split time butterfly. Good job. Now, the next step is sync it up and try and do a same time butterfly. Now, for some people, bouncing their knees really help. What's actually going, because you might be wondering why they're not clinking, what's actually going on is when you look at the two poi, right now when I execute it, it looks roughly like one single line and they're in the same place. If I relaxed the planes, what you would notice is the top poi is coming toward my face. It's angled towards me like this. The bottom poi is angled away from me like this. So it's basically making an X. That's how it works when they're both in same time together. Yes, sync it up. And what can also help is this lifting, opposite direction, that same direction. So both come from underneath like this. Have you ever baked? So for anybody who's a baker, if you imagine you have your dough in a pan, the motion I feel like it feels like is if you're reaching into the dough bowl and you're pulling, you're kneading and pulling up, kneading and pulling up, kneading and pulling up. So when you put it together, it's like kneading dough, lifting it out of the bowl. But you're doing this, which is not the same as this. So do you see the difference between this and this? Yes, better, closer. Yes, there it is, that was it. That was exactly right. And then what can really help is if you lift and lower the hands in this sort of pumping motion, both of them together. So that's actually called a linear extension because you're extending the hands up and down, following the line of the midline of your body, going up and down and up and down. So that's move number 2. That is a same time underhand opposite butterfly. Okay, so now you could theoretically go between split time, which you just did, which is this one, dunk, 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 and the hands are side by side, to same time where one hand is on top of the other. And I think you preferred your left hand on top versus your right hand on top. Although in theory, you could go either way, in theory. Number 3, we can go from that and extend both arms and go big. And that would be a big butterfly or a butterfly with extension in same time. Zhunk, zhunk. Okay, but let me distinguish this for you. You want it to be like this on the front plane, not like this, where it's sort of like doing an X on the side planes. You really want, the whole time, the poi should be on a plane in front of your hips the entire time when you go big. Yes. Do you feel the difference? Great. Okay, number 4. If you go back to split time, guess what? You could do split time big too. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Full extension, full extension, full extension. Across the front of your body. Boom, boom. So not small, but yes, there it is, that was it. And you could do big, big, small, small. Big, big, small, small. Big, big, small, small. Yes. And then when you're going into split time, you don't need to separate your arms, in theory. You want to still keep your hands really close to each other. And then go big, big, back to small. 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 Okay, so that's number 4. Let's take your left hand like this. Is that your left hand? That is your, okay. And then just remind yourself how to go front to back like this. Great, wonderful. And then just remind yourself how to go up and down like this. We're gonna need these for the next couple. So just like as if, yeah, but come back down to here. So come low and then up behind the head, low, up behind the head, low, up behind the head, low, up behind the head. Okay, and now we're gonna do it with your right hand. So front to back at the chest, front to back from underhand. Underhand, underhand. Yep, front to back from underhand. Shink, shink, shink. Good, and now we're gonna go up and over and down, up and over and down. But again, come down to here. So that's slightly different than what we were doing before because we're coming back to butterfly. Okay, now we're gonna use these in flow. If you're in your underhand, same time, underhand opposite butterfly, we're gonna take your left hand, so I'm mirroring you. Get your hands closer together. One hand's above the other. Your left hand is above. You're gonna take your left hand, so if I mirrored you, I would have my right hand above like this. You're gonna take your left hand and go front to back while the other one stays where it is. Rub your head, pat your belly. Rub your head, pat your belly. You're doing two different things. Yes, that was it. Yes. And then what's important to remember is what your hand positioning was when you exited the butterfly. So if your left hand was on top, as it is, remember to bring it back in on top. Don't accidentally lower it down so that it's coming back into where it was. Instead of holding your hand kind of like this with the palm up, try and hold it so that your palms are both in facing each other. Allowing your wrist to do some of the motion. When you're doing your butterfly, just take a moment and go back into your same time underhand opposite butterfly. And what I want you to notice inside your head is say beat, 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 beat. Every time it's hitting the bottom of the turn, beat, 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 beat. So if you could slow it down, that would be great. Beat, 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 nice beat. Beautiful, beautiful. Now here's what's relevant. When you go back behind you, keep the same beat, 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 beautiful, beat, 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 beat. Yes, yes, yes. So you're still maintaining both of them hitting the bottom of the turn at the same time, even though they're on different sides of the body. This is a new skill. Okay, that was your left. Now, let's try it with your right. Now remember, your right hand is on bottom, so when you go back and come to the front, remember to bring it back in on the bottom rather than on the top, if that's your preference. But you could do it both ways, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously. It's obvious to me, but I've been doing this 25 years. I should hope it's obvious to me. If I were to exaggerate but model what you're doing, your arm is sort of locked and you're moving like this, as opposed to having any sort of fluidity through your wrist. So allow your wrists to do more rotation. Remember that kneading dough. You're still kneading dough. You're kneading the dough. The wrist flops back behind and scoops to the front. Flops behind, scoops to the front. Flops behind, scoops to the front. Flop and scoop. What just happened on that last one is sort of a good thing to notice. When you are in front, your hands are pretty tight together. When you go back behind, suddenly they're not tight together because they're on different sides of the body. But then what you're doing is when you're bringing your right hand to the front, you brought it to the front sort of at this distance. And then what happened was the poi hit your arm. So if you try and bring the hands closer together, that can sometimes help prevent you from clinking the poi on the other arm. I would be like this, right? See how close my hands are? This is very different aesthetically than this, because this is much more like a Venn diagram and this is much more like a single circle. And you're doing great. I just want you to see what to shoot for ultimately. You went out on your left side and you went out on your right side. So this next movement is where you alternate on your left, back to front, on your right, back to front. So take out left, take out right, butterfly, take out left, butterfly, take out right, butterfly. So start from the butterfly, and then you're going to go back behind with your left, then back to the front, then back behind with your right, then back to the front, back behind with your left, and back with your right. Left to front, right to front. Yes. Before trying to put this alternating one together, it might be useful to get to a point where you could do 10 of these, where it's just behind, front, behind, front, behind, front, behind, front, behind, front. And then doing 10 of these with the other side, because then it becomes easier to do the alternating version. Let's go up with your left hand. Nope, that's overhand, underhand. Zunk. Yes. And now bring your hands closer together. Good job. And now take your left one, go up and down, up and down, up and down, up. Yeah, that. All you do is that. That was beautiful. That was exactly it. Well saved. That was well done. Yes, 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 yes. And again, the beat thing still counts here. Beat, 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 beat. Let's try your right hand going up and down, up and down. So right one up and down, up and down, up and down. Yes, yes! That was great. Okay, then you can take both poi and go up and down, up and down. And if you think about what we were doing before, we were making it a little bit bigger and we're doing this little linear extension. Take the extension all the way up and over your head and come back down. All the way up and over your head and down. All the way up and over your head and down. Up and over and back down. More wrist with your left hand. I mean, you did it more like this as opposed to this, but you did do it. So you'll work on that one ultimately so that you can get it here and then hold it back here. So that's the next one. So there's this guy, which I think you could try, but getting back to the front might be a little scary. But then there's this guy, which is the opposite direction, the underhand opposite pinwheel. And then there's the underhand opposite pinwheel with extension. Let's not do that. And then what I want to do is I want to switch to the overhand butterfly and do everything we did in underhand in the overhand opposite butterfly.